That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back from the dead. Just by back from the dead, like we've been sleeping all morning. So we woke up in time to spend some time with you this afternoon. I am the BrettMan, and this is Destiny Faulkner. Destiny, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm awake. I've actually been awake for a few hours. Not usually like me on Sundays, so I'm
Yeah,
ready.
I know, and and she actually when I send her the link, usually 15 minutes. She got there 13 minutes early. Even blew me off surprise too. So Destiny, I know she's ready to go. So we won't waste any time because there are a lot of great movies we need to talk about today for the June episode. So pretty much, if you're new from Back from the Dead, pretty much what this show is we celebrate the horror movie anniversaries. If we do all of June, then we will be here forever. And I do promise, Destiny, only 2 hour minimum, unless if it's the October episode, because
Maximum.
minimum. Wait, maximum. Like we don't go over 2 hours. Like I'm trying to
Yeah,
wake up still
minimums.
too.
Yeah, that's
I'm trying
perfect.
to wake up. Sorry, Chad distracted me in the chat with his freaking stirring. But yes, we're gonna just do kind of like differently, and we're gonna celebrate horror movies in the integrals of five. So 5, 10, 15 years apart. And this whole year in 2023 is going to be based upon numbers ending in 8 and 3. And we're also going to celebrate 1 year anniversary movies as well, just because they need their shout outs as well. So that's what we're going to do today. So let me say hello to the chat. We got Yo Adrian, how you doing? We got Gory Tiger, what's going on? Rosie, my dear, here is your rose. We got Leon. We got Mega Cat, what's going on? We got Gavin. What's going on, Gavin? Uh, he was trying to help with spelling there.
Thank you. I
Uh,
appreciate that.
and then we got Chad. What's going on? We got Aaron Click. We got Ashton. We got Chris Snyder. What's going on? We got Mark Jones. What's going on? Let's see here. Anybody else? I think that is everybody. So welcome everybody in. So again, we got a lot of movies to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Uh, and we'll start off anything below the 70s. And I only found one movie from the 70s here, and it's a pretty big one too. And that is from 1968 with a New York Film Festival release, Rosemary's Baby. And I got a great story about this, but just in case if y'all have never seen this classic before, you could rent it right now for as low as $3.59. So pretty good price to watch such a classic. So Desi, have you seen Rosemary's Baby? And if you have not, do you have any interest in watching this movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I am interested in it. It kind of, it's just like one of those things that's like, just because like who the director is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a lot of that in a lot of movies that we watch, unfortunately. So I do want to watch it at some point because I do know it is a classic. It's also kind of long.
Oh,
So that's
my
another thing.
story will explain.
I know it's a slow burn, and I know the ending, like the payoff, is like worth it because I do like kind of know what happens at the end of it and everything like that, and I know like the story of the movie. So I do want to watch it at some point. I'm just not like in a rush because it's been on streaming services for a long time. It's kind of surprising it's not now and it's only available for rent because it was on Netflix for the longest time. I remember being on
Mm-hmm.
Shutter, and I would always see it and like go to click on it, and I would try to start it. I'd be like, no,
Not
another
today.
day. So at some point, yeah, but just not right now.
All right. And here's the funny story because I did watch this on Netflix and Brad told me to watch it. And I disregarded the watch time or like how long the movie is. Like I went into it not even looking at to see how long it was. I started this movie at 1 o'clock in the morning because I thought it was, an hour, 30-minute movie. Then when I actually like pushed pause that one place, like, God, this movie is so slow. And I looked at it, it was like over 2 hours. So I got to stay up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this movie. I was ready to go to sleep right then and there. I was like, nope, not doing this. but the story is so intriguing. It's just you gravitate towards the main character of Rosemary, and just of what's going on. You're just curious on like where this slow burn is going to build up to, and it builds up great. And I'm with you. I knew about the ending right before I saw this movie, but I kind of wanted to see how everything got developed of what made that particular scene so special, and it really pays off. I do not suggest anybody watching this at 1 o'clock in the morning. Definitely started it at noon. That would be a good time to watch it. And then afterwards, you can take a nice nap after such a long build towards the movie. But definitely, I recommend Rosemary's Baby to anybody.
All right. I'm going to say watch it at 1 a.m. End it at 3 during the witching hour just to really set the mood.
Oh, you maniac! Because that's the quote at the end of the movie. Like, "What'd you do to his eyes, you maniac?" Oh God, just her alone at that last act, she was absolutely spectacular. Like, I think somebody let me know in the chat. Did she win in a big time award like an Oscar or something? Because if she didn't, what's wrong? Because just that whole third act alone, she deserves to win something.
Okay.
And plus, I know. Did you watch the documentary episode of Cursed Films about this particular movie? Is that kind of because I remember you mentioned the director? I was like, oh, she watched that one particular episode.
No, I don't think I ever got to that one. I did watch some of the first. I watched like the first season of that. I didn't watch really anything after that. I don't
Oh, the
think.
second season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the movies are a bit weird, but the Rosemary's Baby was one of them, and I do suggest watching that one because it goes into what you talked about with the director. And yeah, piece of work.
yeah, something all right.
And Rosemary, excuse me, Rosie said, no, she didn't, Brett. Okay, that's a damn shame, just because she deserves to win an award. So we could add that actress to another actress who got screwed out of an Oscar that we'll talk about later on in this for the list of movies we get to discuss. So Destiny, that's the only one I found anything below the 70s. Did you find anything else?
No, that was it.
Alrighty, so let's dive into the 70s here. Did you find anything from 73?
No.
All right, so let's go to 78. And this is the movie you had me watch. I know everybody's going to freak out in the chat, but let me explain. It's Jaws 2, released on June the 16th of 1978. So not too long ago, it celebrated its birthday, and you can rent it right now for $4 on YouTube and all these other streaming platforms as well. That's what I did, and definitely well worth the rent. And yeah, okay, just to explain this real quick. I have seen the movie prior to this, but it's been such a long time ago, I didn't remember anything about the movie. So I had to calm Destiny down on that. Like, no, Destiny, I've seen it. It's just, it's been such a long time since I've seen it. And I rewatched it yesterday. And I'll say, I think it's a really good sequel. Is it one of the best sequels out there? No, but does it kind of like check off like the marks of like what makes it a good or any good movie, like a successful sequel? It does, especially in that third act. But just to me, it just takes a little bit to get to that third act. But I still love Brody. I still like the shark in the movie with the burn marks on his face. Absolutely looks good in my opinion. And just the whole third act alone is what really makes this sequel so very strong too. So Destiny, I know you love the Jaws franchise. So what do you think about Jaws 2?
I love Jaws too. I know I've talked about it so many times, but like growing up, Halloween and Jaws, like those are my favorite. Ew, those are my favorite franchises to watch as a kid. It doesn't matter like which movie it was. If it was a Jaws movie, I was watching it. Whether it be the first one or the fourth one, I was watching it. Same thing for Halloween. And growing up, I would say like the second and the third one were probably my favorites to watch because, I mean, they're not the best ones, but I would say they're more fun than the first one, even though the original is obviously the best. But like as a kid, I always gravitated towards the second one because it has teenagers and has like kids in it, and so it feels very much like a slasher movie. And then the third one, just the setting of the park was so much fun. But the second one, just with the kids and like the kind of direction they take it in, and I love how much they are on the water, and this is a sequel, so it does feel like bigger. You have like a freaking explosion, and like you said, the shark gets like burned, so he has like a burn mark, and I like how they electrocute him in this one,
Yeah.
compared to like blowing up the shark in the first one. So they're
I
trying to like
almost like that
it
better
up.
for the ending of Jaws in a way, like with the electric, like the shark biting the electrical wire, because it kind of
Mhm.
showed off Brody's like his intelligence a lot more from the, like the first one, which he was still intelligent in the first one. It's just, in my opinion, sometimes lucky shot, but it's a movie, so
Yeah.
you take what you could take. So I almost in a way like the kill of the shark better in Jaws 2 than I do in the original Jaws, but in terms of ending, it's Jaws all day.
Yeah, I would agree. But Jaws 2, it's just so much fun. I love it. Um I'm gonna rewatch it here soon during like the 4th of July week. So I'm really excited to give it a rewatch. I freaking love Jaws. Any movie.
Nice.
I don't care.
You do not care, and you could bet when me and Brad, because someone asked us if we're doing a Jaws like watch party series. We're not going to do it this year, but next year when we do it, we'd love to have you on for the franchise, just because we know how much you love them. So we'll definitely try to set something up like something cool like that next year. But no, that's awesome. That's Jaws 2. Oh, which my favorite quote from Jaws 2. It's the lady that's like the expert, like looking at the dead whale and all that, and she goes, uh, "Sheriff, like sharks don't take things personally." And immediately I wanted to say, "Well, this bitch has not seen Jaws: The Revenge, so like she has no idea what she's talking about."
That'll just always make me laugh. Sharks don't take things personally. This time it's personal.
Yeah, this time it's personal.
Did you watch your own franchise?
Like, girl, like, come on, like,
That makes no freaking sense. But yeah, that is forever ironic. It's so funny. I love it.
hell yeah. So that is Jaws 2. Let me say hello to more people in the chat that just are slowly gathering in here. We got Maddie Baker. What's going on? Happy Sunday. And Dana Banner, what's going on? Saying greetings, exalted ones. I really don't like any of the Jaws sequels. Dang it, Dana. We were doing just good. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on there, Dana? And see you Thursday for the Freddy versus Jason watch party, where I'm excited to have you on the channel again. Let's see here. All right, that's all I found from 1978. So, did you find anything else from 78?
Um, Damien, Omen 2.
Oh, dadgummit, how did I forget that? Like, I had the Omen franchise and I looked at the ever, so like, dadgummit. So this is why I always have Destiny double check me, especially the disaster that's called the Malignant from last year. So that's why I always appreciate Destiny doing just to double check to double check the double check. So Destiny,
Yeah.
so the Omen 2. So have you seen that one before?
I have not. The only Omen movie I've seen is the remake, and I haven't seen it probably since around the time it came out. Um, but yeah, Damien, Omen 2.
Wait,
That's
you've
all I
not seen
got.
the original?
No, I have not.
Hmm. I
And
recommend that one, but again, that's kind of like Rosemary's Baby. It's a slow burn too, but the third act is really excellent, especially that one particular, that famous decapitation scene. You definitely have to watch that because Chef's Kiss, it's excellent.
I've run downstairs really quick. Can
No,
you?
you go ahead. I'll address the chat real quick, so you are all good. So what's going on here, chat? We're just taking a little time out here. Let's see here. Dana Banner says it's been a couple of minutes since I've hunted for good reels, hasn't it? Yeah, Dana, you need to hunt for these damn good reels, man. Because that's why we have real hunters, so they can help me and Brad. Because you know us, like even me and Brad can miss a good reel every now and then. So that's why we rely on you guys to hunt for the good reels as well. And Lamantra says, still need to watch The Omen. Dude, absolutely you do. Again, it's a slow build. It's a slow movie, but again, the payoff, really well done. So I definitely recommend that. And Ben Green, what's going on, man? Saying that's a nice collection. I'm going to assume you're talking about Destiny's collection. But yeah, she's got a nice collection. Ben was just admiring your work.
Oh, if it is mine, thank you.
All right. And did you get my Boca decaf?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Shit, God, mighty. Like I told you that one story about how I burnt my tongue trying to date a girl in college, and you just never buy me coffee. But that's a good idea because I was an idiot and I burned my tongue and I never drank coffee since. So I don't drink
See,
coffee, but
I don't want to scar you.
yeah, or scar my tongue even more with
Yeah.
coffee. God Almighty. That's actually one of my most embarrassing stories in college. So there you go, chat. We all miss good reels occasionally. Yeah, we do. But again, it's me and Brad's job to make sure you all don't miss those good reels. And Heather, what's going on, Heather? 6 months until Christmas. It's Leon Day, which also 6 days till Christmas. So everybody, I highly suggest go ahead and get your Christmas list gathered. And then in September, go ahead and start buying. So what's going on there, Heather? And then Brother Fluff, what's going on? So wait a second, that's not Matt Damon and Mini Driver. Damn, Brother Fluff, I'm sorry to disappoint you, man. So let's see here. All right, I think that is it. So that's what you found from 80 or 78. So let's go to 1983. And let's continue talking about the sequels here. And I know you do not like the original, which hopefully we could try to sway you on that in the future, or Braden will. So on Fear Freaks future episodes. So let's talk about the successful sequel, known to some people, one of the best sequels in horror history. That is Psycho 2, released on June the 3rd of 1983. And this one's also a rent for $4. And in my opinion, definitely well worth the rent, and definitely check it out. So Destiny, I know you don't like the original, or not a big fan of the original, but are you a big fan of Psycho 2 along with Mindy and Kirby?
I have not seen it. Um,
Oh.
so I do not know. I think I will like it though, just from everything I've heard about it. And I do have it like on VHS, but my freaking VCR, I'm not trusting it right now. It's like being sketchy, so like I don't even want to risk ruining any of my tapes over, it. So I do want to watch it at some point. I missed my chance. I think they're on HBO Max for the longest time, and I was like, oh, I'll get around to it, and then I didn't. And they took it off, so I missed my opportunity. So I'm kind of just waiting for it to be added again, because I'm sure it'll be added to streaming at some point. And I do want to watch it. I think I will like it, and I think I will like it more than the original. So
I think you will too, because first off, it has color in it. So you can actually see everybody. Second, just the story of Psycho 2 and following just the years later of Anthony Perkins. Definitely, or Norman Bates. Sorry, what's the name of the actor there? I think you will really enjoy it. Plus, there's one particular thing that happens in the movie that is really awesome, and you need to witness it. So I agree with you. You will like Psycho 2 more. I don't, but that's okay because I still love Psycho 2. I definitely agree. It's definitely one of the best horror sequels out there. Definitely, I would say in most people's top five, it's definitely in my top five. So I highly suggest watching Psycho 2 because it's really entertaining. And I believe Jennifer Tilly's older sister is in that movie. One of the Tilly sisters is in there. I know it's not Jennifer, so it's the other one.
I think
She
it's
is in the
Meg
movie.
Tilly. Is that her
Yeah,
name?
it's Meg Tilly. I think that's her name. Someone correct me in the chat. But definitely it was Meg. I believe it was Meg. Yes, thank you, Jamie.
Yep.
Which,
Thank you,
Jamie, how are
Jamie.
you doing? So yes, it was Meg Tilly, and she was really good in the movie as well.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
Matt
I'll have to check it out.
Fauci. Oh, absolutely. You definitely do. Because, again, like you said, I definitely know you'll like it more than the original Psycho. Fauci, what's going on, man? What's going on, brother from Tennessee and the fabulous Destiny? So, Matt Fauci, how are you doing, my friend?
Hi, Matt.
So, oh, wait, I was like, what do you got going on here? That's what I bought a VHS rewinder. That's what he meant. Every time I rewind a movie in the VCR, it gets fucked up. Yeah, it really does because that's how one of my VHS or VCRs got busted up, and I had to buy me a new one. And it was unfortunate, but that's what happened. So Dander's right. Definitely buy you one of those like devices that just rewinds your tapes.
Yeah, I want one of those. Those look cool. I like seeing videos of people using them.
I used to own one when I was little, and it's just like And my mom checks on me. Said, "Brett, what are you doing?" I'm watching this. You're
Right? It
watching
looks
the
so interesting.
movie, or no? I'm watching this VCR rewind. Do you have a VCR you need to be rewind? And she just closed the door and just left me alone. So,
I
but
probably would too. Leave you be.
uh, so you definitely need to get one. So let's see here. Okay, that's the only one I had from '83. Did you have another one from '83?
Yes, it's another one I have not seen, but it is Twilight Zone the movie, which I have
Oh,
seen the Cursed Films episode for this
mm-hmm,
one. Um, I haven't seen it, and after hearing like the story of it, I'm like, oh god, I don't think I really want to, even though it is mainly just like one segment. But like, still, two kids died and an adult died. The helicopter pilot, I believe,
mm-hmm,
but two kids for sure died in a horrible way while filming this movie because people were trying to cut corners basically and save money, and
mm-hmm.
unfortunately lives were cost at that, and it's really upsetting.
And
So
and they worked at midnight too, at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning too. So
yeah,
like
there it
they
was
definitely step
not
over
legal.
bounds.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was not legal. They were trying to save money. They were trying to hurry up, finish this, and then two kids were like decapitated by helicopter blades. So very
Mm-hmm.
upsetting. So I don't think I will ever watch it. I just don't really care to.
Mm-hmm.
That's so heartbreaking, you know. And it definitely was not worth it. No matter
Mm-hmm.
how good the movie is, like that, none of that was like worth it. So I don't think I'll ever watch it. But you know,
Yeah.
it's
Like
important to talk about this stuff because it goes to show like you cannot fuck around when it comes to stuff like this. Like
mm-hmm.
these precautions are there for a reason, and safety is there for a reason. Like yeah, things can go wrong, but when things can be prevented, that's something completely different. Like this was not, you know, like this just it didn't have to happen.
No, it really didn't. It's just unfortunate. So that's why, just for me, it's kind of like the same thing why people don't watch Jeepers Creepers because of Victor, the director, of what a piece of shit he is. But like with Twilight, it's the same thing. Like I refuse to watch it because of know what happened behind the scenes and what the director the director kind of caused all this and all that. So like I just can't support a movie like that. So I heard it was a good movie, but at the same time, I can't support that movie, so I will skip it.
Yeah, but you know, thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, no, that's a good one to bring up because, like, again, we just want to educate people on, like, yeah, like you heard this movie's good, but we want you to know bad people sometimes support good movies. So so we just want to, so great one to bring up. And before we continue, Heather wanted us to say hello to Roman. Roman's watching us right now. So what's going on there, Roman?
Hi, Roman.
She wasn't talking about kids and head decapitation or anything.
None of
So
that. No, I would never
nah,
say that.
we are
What?
a PG. We're like that classic Jaws 2 PG type channel.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
which that's why I still find hilarious. To go back to Jaws 2 real quick. It's just it was at that time where it was still rated PG when you obviously know it was PG-13.
Yeah, I mean it's just like watching the first Jaws, it's PG, but she's fully naked in that beginning and you can see that she is naked. But it is PG, so
Yeah, and I love how it took a movie called Gremlins to make a PG-13 rating because Gremlins was one of the two movies.
freaking Swamp Thing. Hold up. Let me look this up really quick. Swamp Thing. Wes Craven's Swamp Thing that came out in like I think 82. It was PG, either PG or PG-13. It's
I think,
PG.
yeah, it's still PG
You
because it was
fully
Gremlins.
see Adrienne Barbeau freaking naked. Fully see her naked because she's like in the swamp, like showering off basically. PG.
What?
Fully naked. I was like,
Wait, are you serious?
yes. It's a very
Okay.
good movie. I really like
Hi.
Swamp Thing. Get back here. I'm gonna finish
Okay.
this show at least.
Sorry. Just showing off my immaturity, but no.
Yeah, you are. It's a
So
great movie though. I really love Swamp Thing.
it
It
was
was so
by,
good.
you say it was Wes Craven or John Carpenter?
Wes Craven.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm definitely watching. Not because of that, but Wes Craven, because Wes Craven's one of my favorite directors.
Well, it is currently on Tubi.
Yes. Okay, I'm putting that on my watch list as I go over the next year. Which you didn't have anything. Oh no, we just talked about it. It was that it for Twilight.
Yep.
Zone, Twilight Zone. Don't want to get people mixed up in the chat. So here we go. Let's go to 1988. Not a strong year for horror this time around in June. And we got Poltergeist 3. Let the sad talk continue because this movie was definitely mentioned when they did the curse episode of the Poltergeist. It's just really unfortunate what happened with this whole situation, especially with Poltergeist 3. And then the other one, I found like last week when I saw something on Instagram of this movie being celebrated. So I decided to include it. And that was called Waxwork. The poster looks really cool to me. So I'm definitely adding it to my watch list. So, Desi, do you have any thoughts about Poltergeist 3 or Waxwork?
I have not seen either of them. I've only seen the first Poltergeist. I have seen that episode though, the Cursed Films episode about Poltergeist 3, and again, so sad. Again, it could have been prevented if people were just like paying attention and like actually doing their jobs right, because she didn't have to die either, and that's so freaking upsetting. And this is another movie, like eventually I do want to get around to it, but it's like I don't, it's just going to be hard to watch knowing, because you can like obviously tell that she is sick, like you can physically tell, and so like that's going to be like a hard thing to watch. And then how like when she passed away and they continue to like shoot things, and you can see like when it's not her, and they just try to like do like camera tricks to make it look like it is her and stuff, like that's just so heartbreaking. But knowing how like upset everyone was and how they didn't even want to continue to do it, they like had to do it. It doesn't feel like gross, you know, that they did it, because like you can tell like how distraught they were, even like talking about it on that episode of Cursed Films all this time later. So eventually I'll watch it once I get past 2 and everything. And Waxwork, that's been on my watch list forever, because it's always on Tubi. It's always streaming somewhere for free, because there's like, I think there's 2 of them at least. I've seen the posters for both of those. And I think, who is it? It might be the guy from Gremlins. I think he might be in Waxwork. There is someone that is in Waxwork that it's from like another popular horror movie, because I want to check it out because that person was in it. So eventually I'll watch it. I've seen like, I think like a trailer, and it looks
it's Zach from Gremlins.
Okay, cool. I knew it. Anyways, yeah, I do want to watch it because I've heard him talk about it, and I think maybe it was like the Adam Green and Joe Lynch podcast. I think he might have been on, because he was also in one of the Hatchet movies and stuff like that. So yeah, another thing that I'll watch at some point.
There you go. But yeah, Waxwork again with the poster, I'll definitely give it a watch. And kind of like you said, I know we've been talking about the curse films a lot today. Which, guys, if you've not seen Curse Films, that little like mini series on Shudder, definitely recommend it. Just because, not just to try and make you all sad, but it's just to make you all aware that unfortunately shit happens. Damn, sorry, Roman. Damn it. Stuff happens. So just out of control. It's just weird and all that. Definitely one of the weirdest ones is The Exorcist. That was one of the episodes that really freaked me out, because I love The Exorcist, but I never knew any of the stories behind it. And once I did, especially from Reagan's, how she was treated after she was made that movie, like damn. So definitely recommend that. And Poltergeist 3, I will watch it eventually when I have to watch it, but I'm not going to go outside. Oh, I'm going to go watch it today. Like, I'm not going to do that. If it's just like for a channel purpose or anything like that, then I'll definitely watch it.
That makes sense.
So, did you have anything else for 88?
Yeah, I had 2 more, again, movies I haven't freaking seen. But one of them is Cheerleader Camp, which I have actually seen probably like 30 minutes of this, because I watched it. It was on YouTube. And so you can't find it anywhere, okay? I've tried, and I saw it there, and I was like, but I only watched like 30 minutes of it because it just was not like capturing my attention. And the poster for it is so fun because it has a cheerleader. She's like up in the air, and her like face is like the skull. So like the poster for it's so much fun, and I just thought it was
Oh,
gonna be
I
so
know what you're
fun.
talking about now. It took me a
And
minute.
like it just maybe like the last hour. I do want to go back and try to finish it just because, just to see how it plays out. But so far, it just wasn't really doing anything for me. And then another one I have, but haven't seen is Nightmare Sisters, which this is one of like the B type movies. It has Linnea Quigley, it has Brink Stevens in it, it has someone else in it. I want to watch it just because of the cast, really, because it's like one of those
Mm.
like schlocky B horror movies. You could just tell by like who is in it. It's like that sort of B level actress, like sort of, all of them together. And I love that sort of feel when it comes to these type of movies, especially if it has Linnea Quigley in it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be at least a fun time. So I definitely want to watch that. And I think maybe I remember the movie Savage Sisters was talked about because that one had Linnea Quigley and, oh my God, we just talked about The Exorcist, Linda Blair. It has them
Linda Blair.
in it. So this is something different, but I think it sounds like fun. So
Awesome. And
example.
definitely what makes cheesy B-level movies really good, it's like with a really good cast. And like you say, Quigley was in it.
Hmm.
So that definitely like sparks up my interest to go see it because I'm always looking for a nice, awesome Gouda horror movie, like a good cheesy horror movie. So let's see here. I know that pun did not
I'm
land,
not
but
even going
so
to
that's
entertain
I
what you
know,
just
I know. I was like, shit, stuff. I gotta stop saying that because now I'm influencing Fluff Jr. Because when he starts saying shit happens, I'm coming after you. Damn, I'm sorry, man. So I'm gonna cancel my Florida trip next year, Brother Fluff. So because I don't want that to be happening. So let's see here. Want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think we are a-okay. So let's go into 1993. Originally, I did not have this on my list because again, it comes up with the big like controversy about this movie. So I'm actually excited to ask Destiny this because I know you and Brayden did a Fear Freaks episode on this movie because it is one of mine and Brayden's all-time favorite movies. But I want to get your opinion on this because I consider it a horror movie. That's Jurassic Park. That
want.
was released on June the 11th of 1993. And it's on Peacock right now. So and DirecTV if you have DirecTV. I know a lot of people said this is not a horror movie, but if dinosaurs are freaking chasing you, that's pretty damn scary if you ask me. So that's why I decided to include it. Originally, I didn't want to, but then I saw I had a big anniversary this month. So I'm like, this is a top 5 movie of all time for me, so I can't like disrespect it because this was my childhood. So Destiny, let me ask you first off, thoughts about Jurassic Park, not like the full thoughts because they can go to your all's Fear Freaks episode to get your all's full detailed thoughts. But what are your quick thoughts on it? And do you consider Jurassic Park a horror movie?
Yes, I definitely consider like it's like horror in the same way that Jaws is a horror movie. Like,
Ooh, good
yeah, it's
comparison.
not like, it's not even so much as super scary like watching it, but being in the actual situation would be scary, like regardless. If you're surrounded by dinosaurs, that will be scary. But like, is it that scary watching it? No. And is it like more silly at times? Yeah. And is it more like adventure, action, thriller? Maybe. Fine. But I think it has enough elements in it to make it a horror movie. So like when people try to say Jaws isn't a horror movie, I'm like, well, I mean, it is. Like, it is a horror movie. I don't care. So that's how I feel when it comes to it. I'm like, you can think it's not, but like to me, it is.
Yeah,
So people
like
are
the
dying.
first one, not the first one especially, but if once we get to like the second and the third one, they really just explore the aspects of the action part of it. Then yeah, I can see your argument. But even though I still think Jurassic Park 3, that one almost had more scalier elements than the first one, in my opinion. Oh God, what?
My my AirPod just got my entire commentary, and it's reading it back to me. It's still going. Um,
Technical difficulties.
yeah, I
Is it
I'm
still
sorry. Hold
happening?
on.
No, it's okay. Go ahead and like refresh it if you have to. But that's absolutely hilarious. You gotta love technology sometimes.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
it
ready
still
to send.
going? Oh my god. Here, let me get some comments while you get that situated real quick.
Yes.
Um, Lamantra says, Brett, let's go travel and see some dinosaurs. You damn right. I better be wearing the Indiana Jones hat. That's my only exception to the rule. And then we got Heather saying she saw this in theaters as a kid and it scared me. Heather, first off, you're one of the luckiest people of all time. Definitely a horror creature feature. And that's another great thing to explain it as it is a great horror creature feature. And I did, yeah, it was last year because they were doing a whole big like Jurassic Dominion like back to back feature where they showed the original and then they played the newer movie, and that's what I did. And seeing Jurassic Park in the theater just brought me back to when I was a kid, and it was one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in a theater. Especially when that John Williams score played. Oh my god, like my goosebumps.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see in theaters. Okay, anyways, sorry. That I
No,
could
so you
not
good?
listen because it was literally repeating back everything I said to you as a text message. And it was like, "Are you ready to send?" I was like,
Like who are
"No."
you even going to send that to? Just whoever
Anyways,
wants to hear it, I guess. But
yeah. I really enjoyed Jurassic Park. It was my first time watching it, like surprisingly, because as I said many times already, I was a huge Jaws fan, and so like thought it was surprising that I hadn't even seen Jurassic Park. So I was happy whenever we did get through all of them. I enjoyed it so much. I gave it like I think 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like it is as great as everyone says it is, pretty much. It was funny. It had like the serious moments. The editing was so good. That's like probably the number one thing I noticed in the first one was the editing and how like the jokes played out with like the cuts and stuff. And I felt like no other Jaws message, or not Jaws, no other Jurassic Park movie feels the same way as the first one. Like it feels so special. Um, I loved it. I haven't watched it since. I do want to give it another watch, especially now that it's like hot outside and everything. It's like the perfect time.
Mhm.
So hopefully soon I'll give it another watch.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely need to. Like, I definitely watched it when the anniversary came out for it. That's what I did that day. So I just again love the movie. Again, what kind of like you touched upon, like the effects. Like those dinosaurs looked so real, and even like the behind the scenes, and when Paul Mortem did the episode for Jurassic
Hmm.
Park, which I sent that episode immediately to Braden for it because I know he would appreciate that episode. But just them talking about like how real those dinosaurs were really freaked out the cast, and I don't blame them because it freaked me. Oh, it did freak me out when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh, cool dinosaurs! This is awesome." Now it's like that's too scary because it's kind of almost looks so realistic.
Yeah, the effects really hold up. Like even watching it now, like as a first time viewer, and I think it was like last year. So in 2022, watching this movie for the first time, like it still looked great. There was nothing that I was like, that doesn't really hold up that well. Like I thought everything looked great, and the parts that maybe like the background looks a little fake, but it adds to like the charm of the movie. So like I loved
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, it was just the best word to describe Jurassic Park. It's just a spectacle. Like just something you just really like. If one person hates Jurassic Park, fine, but you're wrong. But, but it's just a nice way I can put it. So that is Jurassic Park from 1993, and that's the only thing I found in the 90s. So Desi, is there anything you found in 93 or in 98?
I found one movie in '98. Again, I haven't seen it, and it's probably not
You're
good,
starting to
but
sound
it's
like me.
I know. It's like half the movies that I come on here, I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen it. But this one is Children of the Corn Part 5, I believe.
Ooh.
Field of Terror. If there's any Children of the Corn fans in here, personally,
Please let
I
us
know I've
know.
seen a couple of them, but I watched them as a kid, so like I can't even tell you anything. So like whenever I do rewatch some of them, at least they'll basically be first time watches because I don't remember anything from the movies, but I do remember watching them. Um, yeah, there's so many of them. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was doing some building up on my Canva, kind of like just like to get access to like certain particular movies, like for posters and all that. And when I was doing the Children of the Corn franchise, I just realized like, damn, how many freaking movies did they make? It was kind of like they were like in the sevens or the eights, if I'm just guessing. Like there's just so many of them, especially with the remake. Or is it the latest one that came out last year a remake, or is it like a requel? Do you remember that?
Was it last year? I think it was. I thought it was this year.
See, that's how much I cared about the movie. So
I think
I
it's a
didn't even know
remake.
that. Oh, regardless, like from the trailer, it looked so bad. I'm like,
It
why
looked
are they
bad.
continuing to make these?
It does look pretty bad. Because I think it might be on Shutter. I remember it was supposed to be added somewhere, and I think it was Shutter. And I
I think it was Shudder too.
remember, yeah, like I was like, oh, like it looks bad. I'll watch it, and then I just have not gotten around to watching it because I completely forgot it was a thing. So, yeah,
But Cody says he loves Children of the Corn 666. And Heather says Children of the Corn 1 through 4 are solid, bonkers, and fun. Part 5 is the start of the so bad it's bad and it gets worse. So thank you, Heather, just for letting us know. So just to check out the first 4. The
thank
first one
you.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but not one I'd go back to.
Okay,
Did you like the first one?
I don't remember.
You don't remember.
I don't know.
No, which I don't blame you. Like I don't hardly remember. I even forgot that Linda Hamilton's in that movie. That's how much I
Yeah,
forget about that
I
movie.
was probably like 7 or 8 whenever I watched it because I would just like watch whatever was on TV, like on Direct TV or like Dish, whatever we had.
Hmm.
So anything that was kind of on, I would watch it. So like I don't remember some like a lot of the things that I did watch. I was just trying to watch a horror movie. I didn't really
Just what?
care what it was.
So whatever's on my screen, I'll watch it. That's how I like
Basically,
that. The whole thing with me and Jaws 2. That's how I was. I was just a kid. I was flipping channels and I saw, ooh, shark eating people.
exactly,
This is fun.
exactly. So it's like something I know I watch, but I have no memory of what plays out in the movie.
Hmm. Yeah, but I would say again, just put it in the middle tier of your watch list for Children of the Corn. Just
I
take
was
your time with.
thinking,
You know, it could be a good October movie if you're just
that's
bored one
literally what I was
day.
about to say.
Sorry, I didn't mean to invade your mind right there.
Get out of my hood.
Sorry.
But that's literally what I was about to say. Like a good fall time movie. It feels like it has those vibes. Plus, like corn,
So eat
yellow,
popcorn.
you know.
So yeah, make you some popcorn. Like do it the fresh way. Get the corn seeds, put it in. Nothing
Who
like
do
it.
you think I am?
Your destiny.
I'm not doing all that. I'm
Okay.
lazy. Thank you.
Well, I'm lazy too, but okay, it is what it is. Whoa, hold on. 5 has Eva Mendes in it, and Kang Harder, and Alexis. Wow, okay, that's new. Damn, now you almost got me wanting to put it on my watch list now.
You might as well. I think you should do a full day of just binging them.
You would love that for me, would you? So you don't.
Yeah,
Again, it's my job to hunt for the good reel, so you don't have to.
exactly. Tell me what I should watch and not watch in the
You,
franchise.
you sneaky. And then Chad, of course, says corn.
Corn.
There you go. And then Cody's
Do you
actually
like corn?
like actual corn.
Yeah.
Love corn,
Do you
especially
prefer it on the cob or off the cob?
actually. Like when I was so sensitive to my fake tooth right here, because when like I eat on the cob, it will pop like my tooth popped out. That's how much of afraid I was. And then just one time for a shrimp boil, I was like, I'm just tired. I'm lazy. Took a bite of it and nothing happened. My tooth's actually stronger than I thought. Overthinker I am. I love it both ways now, but the best way to corn on the cob, shrimp boil. That's the best way to eat it with the Cajun seasoning. But for regular
Mhm.
corn, it's if you could do it a Mexican style and cut up some freaking red pepper and some peppers and all that and to put it in there, fantastic.
Nice, nice.
What about you? Are you a corn person?
I don't mind it. I don't like it on the cob though. I don't like holding that and like
Just
biting
like to
into
get
it.
messy.
Yeah, because it's like all in your teeth and like
Oh
the.
yeah.
Ugh, I hate that. So I prefer like to cut it off corn with mashed potatoes though, like mix them together.
That's oh my god. Along with peas, like that's the shit. Do you not like? Oh, come on, peas and mashed potatoes are like the ultimate
I used to eat that
combo.
as a kid. I would mix it all together, but now I don't really eat peas that much. I can't tell you the
Oh,
last time I had peas.
green beans.
I love green beans.
Yeah, because I evolved the green beans because I don't eat peas as much as I used to, but I evolved the green beans. I
I
can't go
love
back.
green beans. The only thing I don't really like is cauliflower, but I'm learning to like it.
I've
I'm
never
forcing
had it.
myself. It's okay. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. It always freaks me out. They're saying elote is good. I will agree. That's like the corn, and it has like
Oh,
I think it's like the
where
mayonnaise and like the seasoning on it and everything like that. That is
they
good.
come it, they come at Aaron. I am Cornholio from Beavis and Butthead. Very popular line. So
And, mhm.
I knew what he was referring to. What was the comment that you found?
Elote, it's the corn with like mayonnaise and it has like the spices on it.
Ooh.
Um, it is pretty good. I don't even like mayonnaise, but you can't really even tell it is mayonnaise, but it is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I do like
Somebody
it.
actually was hanging out with Brad when I was having a convention a couple of weeks back. He was just in town and we hung out at Buddy's barbecue. He and his wife both put butter on their corn on the cob, and I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
have to try it the next time.
Look, hold on, Mud. Let me show you what it is. It's not
Oh,
just straight mayonnaise. I'm not, I couldn't do just straight mayonnaise. I don't even like mayonnaise. But it's like this. But
oh, gotta
but
charge
let
your
me
phone.
find it in like the cups.
Uh, yeah. So we're
Isn't
taking
this?
a small break with food because we love food on this channel. Oh, that looks really good.
Yeah, it is very good. You can get it like if you're like taco stands and stuff like that. It's very good.
Absolutely. So, oh, Rosie hates Eliots, if I pronounced that right.
You do? Well, at first I didn't think I would like it just because like I'm so freaked out by mayonnaise. But whenever I actually tried it, I was like, whoa, that
Mm-hmm.
is good.
Like, if you
But
could hide the mayonnaise taste from me, I don't mind it. But if it's just straight up
that's
mayonnaise,
how I am.
I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight you.
Yeah,
So,
that's how I am. Because like you put mayonnaise in like chicken salad and stuff like that, and you put it in like tuna salad as well. So you put mayonnaise in like a lot of stuff, and as long as I can't
mm-hmm.
taste the mayonnaise, I'm fine. But if it's like mayonnaise on a burger,
Yeah.
I'm not eating it.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, again, I will fight you. I will lose the fight, but I will still fight you. So and that was it. I know we just went completely left field, but with Children of Corn and all that. But you know what? That's what makes this show awesome. So was that all for not in the 90s, Destiny?
That was it.
Excellent. So we're gonna go from loving corn to loving Killian Murphy. What movie am I talking about from 2003? And that is 28 Days Later. Some consider one of the best zombie movies out there. Was released on June the 27th, so it's going to have a birthday this week. So be sure to either rent it or if you own a copy, be sure to watch 28 Days Later. So Desi, what I know you love Killian Murphy, but what are your thoughts about 28 Days Later?
Um, I watched this one for one of our other Back from the Dead. Oh, one of our other Back from the Dead episodes because I was doing 28 weeks later, and I hadn't
Mhm.
seen Days, but I owned the double pack of both, and so I was like, well, let me just like binge them together, which I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed both of them, but especially the first one. The first one was the better one in my opinion. It has Killian Murphy. The cast is great. I like the way it like starts off. I'm not saying because he's naked, but I like the way because it's like immediately you're like isolated, and
You
then they
call
just start.
me unprofessional.
I just said not because he's naked. I'm just.
Hmm.
He does start off fully naked. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, Jesus, have some discretion, please. But it starts off and he's like, it's already in like the midst of everything, and so he's just like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, these zombies are like charging at him, and they're super fast. And the way it's shot, it looks so like grimy and like gross and dirty, and it looks like old, but like that's what I think makes it feel like more realistic. Um, and like the action sequences are great, and then the ending I think is really good, and I like the very end of how they're able to like come together, and I don't want to say
Mhm.
too much, but the way they pull off the ending, it's like such like a feel good moment. It's finally like you can breathe. It's like yes, finally like something good, because everything that can go wrong is just going wrong. So I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. And these aren't usually my types of movies. Like the zombie movies are usually not my favorite, but this is one which it's zombie antiviral, like whatever, like it's basically zombies. But I really enjoyed it.
Hell yeah, and I enjoyed it too. Especially kind of like the big topic when it comes to zombie movies. Are you a fast zombie person or are you a slow zombie person? I'm definitely on the field of a fast zombie, just because to me that is way more scarier than slow. Because yes, if they're slow, they'll eventually get you immediate, like kind of like eventually, because that's what The Walking Dead kind of proved, that a walking zombie could be just as deadly as a fast one. But just to me, the fast one is more scarier because what again, because in Zombieland, rule number one, cardio. Like you got to have good cardio, and I do not have good cardio like I used to, so I would die immediately if a fast zombie was chasing me. And this, I think, was the first zombie movie to actually introduce the fast zombie aspect, because the Dawn of the Dead remake introduced that the following year in 2004, or I'm sorry, 2 years later in 2005. 2005, 2004. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it might
But
be. I think it might be five.
yeah, I'm thinking five too, because I think I was looking at the last stages of VHS tapes being made, and it was, I think it was one of the last ones was Dawn of the Dead remake. So yeah, double check me on that. But regardless, though, this movie kind of like set up a brand new stage of zombie movies with them being fast. Killian Murphy, 2004. I was close. I should have gone with my gut, but Killian Murphy was awesome. Definitely the middle act. If you have a sensitive heart, grab a tissue. Just warn you. And that's all I'll say about it. But definitely check this movie out. This movie is a really classic zombie movie.
Yeah, really good. Um, High action sequences. It's really like nerve wracking. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, it does have those moments where it's like, fuck. It does get pretty upsetting. And some of it gets dark. And not in like a zombie way. It's like the army men are gross.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like another threat added on to the zombies. You also have these fucking army men who are trying to like assault these women, and like they're being so like brutal to like everyone. So you have like two things working against you, and you're trying to like get out and survive both of them. So it gets like pretty like on edge,
Intense.
but it's so good.
Mhm. Oh, it's definitely so good. If it's just to add on or what I was saying by myself about zombies, are you a fast zombie or are you a slow zombie?
Fast zombie, like you said, yeah, like the slow ones. It's like that more like the like doom of it all, and like the like oh the scent of like oh man it's coming, like it's always gonna be coming. But like I'm sorry, if I have to choose one that's after me like at this second, I'm not choosing the fast one to chase me. I'd rather go with the slow one. So the fast ones are definitely scarier because
Hmm.
they, like you said, like I can run. I'm not the fastest though. I can run because I have to for work, but like I'm still, my chances are still not great. I will definitely outrun a slow zombie.
And yeah, so don't, and suggestion, don't run next to Destiny, because she would, I could kind of see you as you would trip somebody if they, and that I'd be
Oh,
shit
I'm
out of
pushing
luck.
you down.
I appreciate the honesty.
Look, I did hurdles. Well, I didn't really do hurdles in track. I fucked up my hip before I made it there,
Oh, wait a
but
minute. I
I
was about to say
almost
you
did.
did track. I didn't know you did
I
track. I
did
know
do
you did
track.
other stuff. I didn't know that.
Not very much because I wasn't good,
But
but
like it kind of makes
I
sense
can
now with the
run.
high jump kick and all that, because you were doing hurdles and all that. So that actually makes sense now.
Yeah, I could do them. Then I fucked up my hip, but it's all right.
Hey, as long as you did it, right?
Yeah,
It's just something on your best. Aha, I did track.
exactly.
So Hell yeah. So just want to check everybody here. Heather says, in a lot of zombie movies, the humans are the worst than the actual zombies. Mankind goes to shit in an apocalypse. Absolutely right. And another comparison I can make with 28 Days Later, just recently the big hit series, The Last of Us. That one's a definite. I know it's not necessarily zombies, it's more fungi, but I technically call them zombies at a point. But definitely goes along with Heather just said that humans are the worst.
Yeah, definitely. It's even like when like COVID first started and everyone was like taking all the toilet paper and stuff like that. It's like when stuff like this happens, it really shows like how people are like when it comes like down to the wire, how people will react to things. And it's scary because I was just over toilet paper, you know. What if something like crazy actually happens and then what? We're so screwed because everyone's just going to turn against each other.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And just because Gavin gives you a hard time, Destiny, you're welcome for this. Gavin
I'll
will
blow
blow a slow zombie.
a
he
slow
just
zombie's back out. Will you?
he said, "Wait, that's not what I meant." Nope,
I
we
know. I
got
don't know.
you.
You said it one way, so I'm gonna take it that way.
That's funny. Oh. Heather asked, Desi, you just have to outrun one person. Maybe the zombies will get that person. Or
Exactly. If
again,
it's
she'll
me or
just trick you.
Brett, if it's me or Brett, I'm sorry, Brett.
Okay.
I'm gone.
I hate to be this person, but we're gonna have to set up a race for YouTube.
Erase.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to prove it to you, I guess. So and then I'll puke afterwards.
Okay. We'll see.
so so just remember that so eventually we'll race each other and see who the fastest is. Let's see here. I think okay, this is what kind of like we have, or you mentioned earlier. Zombie, it's infected, but yeah, effectively they're zombies. Yeah, it's supposed to be like the rage virus from the monkeys and all that, but yeah, at a point they evolve into zombies because they're not themselves.
Yeah, just like you're saying with The Last of Us, I think they all fall under the umbrella of like zombies, even though they're not
Hmm.
eating brains like type zombies, and they're infected from something else. But they all fall under that branch of like type zombies.
That was a good zombie face right there.
Thank you.
So, all right, that was from 2000. Oh, sorry, I am slacking today because I forgot to talk about the first movie we should have been talking about, but we'll talk about it right now. And I know this had a 2002 release, but I kind of do things in the American way for USA releases mainly. So this is why this has under the 2003 category. That's May. Had a limited release in the USA on June the 6th. And I think we talked about this last year, but you know what? Why not talk about this movie again? Because I think you said it best on Fear Freaks when you and Brain did this episode as well, or this movie as well, that this is suddenly having a cult following. And when I was looking up the numbers as you see here, you're absolutely right. I feel like this movie has definitely gaining its cult following of being now a 2000s classic. So, Desi, do you agree? Is this now a 2000s classic horror movie?
Um, I would say yes for like what you said, like a cult classic. For because like I didn't know about this movie until I would say a couple of years ago, and I didn't watch it until like last year. I think it was last year, last May, because that was the Fear Freaks episode was
Yes.
the first for May, and I chose it because of the title because it was fitting, and it was so bizarre and uncomfortable, and it's like everything that makes me feel just so like the secondhand embarrassment. I couldn't handle it because I hate things like that.
Secondhand.
It like watching movies where there's like I feel a secondhand embarrassment. It makes me want to like rip my hair out. But the movie was so good, and the character of May herself, it's like you feel so bad for her because she's just so different than everyone else, and she is a little odd. But you can see like she's just trying, and I feel bad for her
Hmm.
because she is trying just to make friends and like have a normal life, and like her upbringing was not very normal, and so it's like no wonder she is how she is, and you feel bad for her. And then the end is so crazy because it's almost like a surprise type movie how it ends. Like whenever I
Hmm.
was watching it, I didn't know where it was going, and then it's like a surprise sort of like Universal. monster
Mhm.
movie, and it's like, what the fuck? I was not expecting this at all. And the cast is great. Like everyone in the cast or in the movie, it's so good. It has Anna Faris in it. It has
Yes, and she was in my opinion, she was the star. Like she was a
she's
great
so
supporting.
good because
Mhm.
she's playing like because I feel like during this time it's already like the around scary movie, and so we're already seeing her play these like sort of like dumb characters, but and it's like fun to see her with her dark hair playing just like a normal type person. And it has the guy from Clueless. I forget his name, but he's the Rolling with the Homies guy, and he's in Wrong Turn as well. But he's in it. Everyone is so great, especially what is her name? Is it Angela Bettis or something like that?
I got you here. One moment. Let's see here. Angela Bettis.
Thank you. She is so good in this. I know she also plays Carrie in like the Carrie movie that was like made for TV. She is like Carrie, and I do want to
Oh,
watch
I
that
didn't know
mainly
that.
because of her, because she plays this such a good like outcast, awkward, like socially, just like uncomfortable like character. So I think she'll be great in that. But she's so good in this. May is just it's an uncomfortable watch, and it is kind of hard for me at times just because it makes me want to crawl out of my own skin. But it's really
Mhm.
effective. So I really and it's a good Halloween movie. I
Yes.
talked about this the other day, but it's a good if you're looking for horror movies that are set place around Halloween that aren't Halloween or like trick or treat. This is a good one because it is set around Halloween time. So
And they do have a Halloween party at the
they
third
do,
act
and there's
too.
costumes and everything. So like it is like an actual Halloween horror movie.
Yeah, and Heather said it the best. It's definitely underrated. I absolutely agree with that. And like you said, this movie definitely makes me feel uncomfortable. But not like I do feel sorry. You do really feel sorry for the character of May, but kind of like where it got me at one point or another, I was kind of like her. I was kind of like I was trying to make friends, but I was doing everything wrong or just doing something weird that other kids were like, "Ooh, this person's weird" and all that. In a way, I kind of related to her a little bit, like when I was a kid. Like I know she was dealing with that as an adult, but you still can't help but to go back as just kind of reflect. So I kind of related to May a little bit, but at the same time just her sensation with hands, like yeah, weird. But
I don't
again, but that's her
know.
job. But that's her job, though. You're supposed to be uncomfortable. Definitely, she nailed it with Angela Bettis. She nailed the uncomfortability factor. So I definitely agree. This movie is definitely underrated. If you've not seen it, definitely go watch it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I don't blame her with hands. Some men have nice hands. See,
Mm,
my yes, thank you, Gavin. Most girls like hands. Yeah, that is true.
okay.
You ever
I'm
watching
not.
them shuffle
Uh,
cards? I don't know. Something about it, I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Okay. Like, I guess that's something I just will not understand. But what I do understand is Happy Sanjos in the chat saying, yo, 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 what's going on there, Happy? So let's see here. She's cute and innocent. I don't care what she did. Yeah, I'll admit she was cute in her own unique way and all that. But once she was really getting into that like particular horror movie, which I thought the horror movie that got made was actually pretty good.
That was a fun part, but she just was doing what she saw.
Yeah, exactly. So like you can't blame her for that. So definitely go check out May. I can't believe I almost forgot us talking about that one. So did you find anything else from 2003?
No, I did not.
Alrighty. So let's go to 2008 and oh man, this one's going to be rough. The Happening, M. Night Shyamalan, with freaking Mark Wahlberg in it, released on June the 13th of 2008. Scores are not great, definitely not great. Who am I kidding? Rent is $3.79, and I'll go ahead and let you know right now, you could do a lot better with $3.79 than watch this movie. Like, it's some people consider this movie so bad it's good. I don't personally get that. I wanted to turn this movie off so much when I first watched it, but it was for a tearing it up stream I was doing, so I had to watch it. So, Destiny, what about you? Did this movie happen for you, or do you just want nothing to do with this movie?
I would consider this so bad it's sort of good. I watched this so much as a kid. Like I remember when the trailer would come on because I thought the trailer was actually really good because it showed the people just like jumping off and like falling off the bridge, and it's just a guy like
Mm.
looking up and he's like being scared, and like that was actually like really good. Like that's so effective. And yeah, like they kind of like lose exactly. Like I feel like they lose like because it still has effective parts though. Like I remember the scene because I've watched it so many times. It's when they're at the guy's house, because it also has it has the brother from or not Dr. Seuss, from Cat in the Hat. It has him, and he gets shot at this house. And so, like watching it as a kid, I was like, oh my god, like that always like freaks me out because I had watched him in Cat in the Hat as a kid. Now I'm watching him this, and he just got freaking shot. What the fuck? And so like I thought that was effective. I thought the old woman was effective when she's just like hitting her head, like, and she's like walking by with the like. I thought that part was creepy. So I do think there are like good effective moments in the movie, but overall, like the story and like I kind of like that how it was. It's like basically like the Earth like fighting back against like humans and stuff, and like
Hmm.
that is like a good concept after like everything humans have done to the earth. Like I think that is a good concept of when like nature fights back and stuff. It's just the way they went about it
Was wrong.
wasn't done the best. And yeah, and like I thought like, I can still remember so many death scenes, like the part in the Jeep where they like wreck and then he gets out and he's like cutting himself with the glass. There's the part with the lion, there's the part with like a lawnmower. There's so many like scenes that like I remember watching because like I thought they were effective. It's just the actual basis of the movie, and Mark Wahlberg, I just don't think he's that great in it. And I'm sure it's
Hmm.
also like the dialogue, but it's just like I just don't think. And he is a good actor, you know.
Oh, I bet he just did like he read the script and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to try with this one."
Yeah, because like a lot of it is it's almost like Chris Rock and Spiral, where it's like they only have like
Hmm.
one way of delivering every line, and that's what he does for every line, and it's just kind of like frustrating. But yeah, and like the whole like romance side with him and Zoe Deschanel, like their characters in the movie, like I
Hmm.
don't
Didn't
care about
work.
that. No, not at all. But like parts of the movie I do think are effective still. It's just not the way they could have told the story so much better. But
Hmm.
it's still like if I want to watch a bad movie, sure. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I have seen it so much as a kid. Like anytime it was on TV, I would just watch it because it was just a bad sort of fun movie to watch.
And it was just
But
happening.
it was just happening. Yeah. The guy with the hot dog, you like hot dogs, don't you?
Love hot
That
dogs.
guy, he is the hot dog guy is in one of the scariest episodes of Criminal Minds.
Oh,
And so like, and he's also in
is it the one
Elvira.
that you always talk about with that particular episode?
It's not the one that has Evan Peters because that one I think is the scariest one, but it's the one it has to do with the caller, and it's
Hmm.
like they answer the phone. It's like I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. Ugh, and the phone call is still so scary. Like every time I would watch this, like I would be at home, I would like have to change it during the call scene because it I still think it's effective. But he's in that episode and he's so good in that episode. But I will always just remember him as being the hot dog guy from The Happening.
Oh my god, the hot dog guy from The Happening. That. Uh, Wait, sorry, Rosie Wahlberg. Oh, Mark Wahlberg. I was like, what the hell? But no, but yeah, I'm with you though. The movie did had an interesting concept about like just the Earth fighting back after how humans how mistreated the Earth. But and like you said, the trailer and the opening scene, all of it was really good. But just everything else was just so bad. And wasn't this the movie too where like the old lady just talks to Mark Wahlberg going, "You're going to kill me in my sleep, aren't you?" What? What? No.
Yeah.
What?
What?
That's the only thing I remember from that movie. It's just
No,
I
it's gonna
laugh at it
harm
because of
you.
how bad was it. Like you're going
It's
to cut
just
my
so
throat.
weird.
It's just it didn't make
Everything.
sense. It's
No,
like you're going to
everything he
cut
says
me
is
when I'm
so
asleep.
strange. Like it just gets so weird. But it could have been a good movie. And at the
Oh, it
end,
had all
like,
the potential.
yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, I'll be on the side where I actually probably not going to blame. Wait a minute, I gotta look this up just before because sometimes M Night Shyamalan likes to write particular scripts. So I just want to make sure real quick. Uh, da, 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 da. Okay, okay. Shit. Never mind. Definitely M. Night Shyamalan's fault. He was a writer for this movie. I was gonna say, okay, it's probably not his fault, it was the writer's fault, but no, it's definitely M. Night Shyamalan's fault. So definitely his worst movie in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely not the strongest.
Mm-mm. Definitely not. And that is what happened in 2008, unfortunately. Unless if you found anything else a lot better than the happening.
Nope.
Okay, so that is what that offered us for the month of June. I bet a lot of people are happy about that. So we're going to go into 2013, and there are a lot of movies from 2013. So if there's one we don't know too much, we'll kind of just skim through it a little bit and talk about the ones we do know. And how about I'll just do two at a time because there are a lot for this particular year. So the first two, VHS 2, coming off of the first VHS movie, was released on June the 6th of 2013. Pretty mediocre numbers right there, nothing too bad. On Hulu right now. And then the other movie, The Purge, for June the 7th of 2013. Not great numbers to my surprisement, because like I don't know. It's just like I thought I had a good premise, but definitely the second one for me definitely expanded upon it a lot better. But I still don't hate this movie. So, Destiny, what are your thoughts about both of these movies of VHS 2 and The Purge?
I have seen both of them, but I haven't seen. I binged like because this is only when there's three of the VHS movies, so I binged them all within like a day or two. So I don't really remember much of like which one's in which because they're all like together in my mind. But I remember like liking it, and then oh my god, The Purge. I was like, what the fuck was the second movie? I saw The Purge in theaters and I really did enjoy it at the time. I haven't seen it in so long. I haven't really seen any of them in a long time, but I remember liking the first one, but then when you have like such a cool concept and then you choose to stay inside, it's like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like that we at least get one movie where it's mainly inside and you're like outside or inside looking out compared to the rest of them because then they end up it's more focused on being outside with everything. So I do like that we get a movie that's set in the house and it feels more like a home invasion. Again, I remember the trailer for this and I found it effective, like
Mm-hmm.
when the girls are like in the hallway and they're like swinging around like the machetes and everything and they're wearing those like white dresses. It feels very much like Manson style because it is almost like this cult of these like rich people and they're trying to get this guy to come back outside and stuff like that. And like they're really good like political movies. Like they do have like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
and it is very much in your face, but like yeah,
But you kind of already expected it,
you have
though.
a movie called Election Year. Like obviously it's going to be like front and center. Like it is about like America and everything like that's wrong with America and stuff like that. So overall, like I like The Purge. I definitely like Anarchy more.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the last one of the
The
Forever
Forever
Purge.
Purge?
Yes, I still have to watch that one. But the other ones I do enjoy for the most part. It's not my favorite franchise, and I don't ever go back to like actually wanting to watch them. Maybe I will watch at least one of them for like 4th of July because it's like a good time to like watch
Ooh,
these
election year.
election year. Yeah. So maybe I'll watch one of them, but I like both of the movies from what I can remember. It's just, it's
Mm-hmm.
been so long since I've seen both of them, but I have actually seen both of them.
Nice. And for VHS 2, I have not seen it, but I am planning on watching it next month because me and Brad are doing a special project. And since you guys have been consistently great in the chat for 9 to 10 people in here, I'll throw a little hint. It's a tournament. So that's all I will say about it. I will do another tournament in next month, but I'm not going to release the topic yet. Hopefully, we'll release the topic this next weekend. That's what me and Brad are going to try to do. But go back to this VHS 2. I have not seen, but I will watch it next month for that particular tournament, for tournament reasons. But for The Purge, I have seen it. I've seen the first two. I have not seen Election Year and so on, and I need to do that just because I like the idea of The Purge, but the first Purge movie technically should have been the third movie, if you ask me. You should have done Anarchy as the first movie, Election Year the second movie, and then this one as the third movie, because you'll be at the time where you'll get off the streets and make it a home invasion movie with one set location. But I feel like to really sell this idea, kind of like you said, we need to go outside and just just see chaos everywhere, and that's what Anarchy does the best of it, and that's why I like Anarchy the best.
Yeah, that one's my favorite so far from what I've seen. And I've seen the first season of the TV series. And
I
I
still
only
need to
watched
do that
that.
too.
Yeah, because it has the guy that plays Cameron Elam. He was in some of the episodes. So I watched the entire first season just to watch him in the show for maybe 30 minutes in total. But I was happy every time he was on screen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I bet you
Something
were,
to watch.
especially during that time.
Yeah, I was.
So,
I was like, and then, yeah.
and then Eddie happened. See here. I think we are good there in the chat. So let's bring on the other two movies here I have from 2013. And there's still more too, but the next two to talk about real quick. This next one is Hatchet 3, the third movie in the Hatchet franchise, had a limited release on June the 14th of 2013. Plenty of streaming places to watch this at. Of course, has Danielle Harris returning as her previous character from the second one. And then the other one I have here is the remake of Maniac with Elijah Wood in it. It had a New York release on June the 21st of 2013. So Destiny, have you seen? I know you've seen Hatchet 3, so we'll talk about that one first. But then after that, have you seen this remake of Maniac?
Yes, I've seen Hatchet 3. I love the Hatchet franchise. I will say the third one is probably it is my least favorite, and it's the one that Adam Green didn't direct. And like I feel like you can feel that. Like, and even though like I think the cast is great and it's still a fun movie, it's just because this is the one with Derek Mears, correct?
Yes, Derek Mears
Again,
was in Hatchet 3.
I watched all these around like the same time, sort of like back to back. So it's like hard to like figure out which one is which. But you have Derek Mears in it, and he's great. He's playing like such an asshole, like cop, like detective type guy. He's such an asshole, but he's so good in it. Like everyone is so good. I love Hatchet overall.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the worst Hatchet is still a good movie. So they're just fun.
Yeah, especially Hatchet 3, it might not be the best, but it still definitely has its entertaining moments too, especially the franchise where you will never get bored with a Hatchet movie. I'll say that. Are they the best? No. But are you going to be entertained with good kills? Absolutely, especially the first two. And I even throw Victor Crowley out there because I like Victor Crowley a lot. It took me a while to get around to that movie to really enjoy it for how much I enjoy it now, but man, Felissa Rose definitely helps.
Victor Crowley is my favorite. It was also the first one I watched because it was on the last drive-in, and that's what they were showing. I didn't want to turn it off or anything, so I was like, fine, like I'll watch this one. So I watched the last movie first, which was like a really interesting like way to experience the movies. But I love Victor Crowley. Like it's so silly and out there and like whatever. Like it's not that great, but it's so much fun. But overall, the entire franchise is so much fun. You're saying
Yeah.
D. Snyder's son, Cody Snyder, in it. He's great. He is great, and also it's fun. Like when you, because like I had a pretty big like Adam Green kick for a while. Like I was trying to watch as many movies like as or of his like I could, and then I also watched Holliston, which if you have not seen Holliston, it is so great. It's not on Shudder anymore, which makes me so sad. I need to just buy
that's
the
bullshit.
I know. I need to buy the Blu-rays because I love Holliston. It is so much fun. But you get to see all these other characters that he's worked with also in Holliston. Like Dee Snider's son is on only like one episode, but still, it's so cool. Daniel Harris is on an episode. You have Kate Potter who's on a couple episodes. So you have all these characters that have been in the Hatchet franchise also on the show, and like and so many other things he's worked on. So I love. We always talk about, you know, like Rob Zombie does it, Mike Flanagan does it. I love when directors work with like a certain group of actors and you see them pop in and
Mm-hmm.
out of like other stuff they work on. But I love Victor Crowley and I love Adam Green. I want to meet
Mm-hmm.
him so bad. He seems so freaking cool.
And you love Halston, which I'll go ahead and let you know right now that with my local convention, they were trying to throw a hint already that the next big time person they're going to try to get for my next local one is Adam Green because they love Adam Green so much and they're trying to get in contact with him. So if
That would
that
be so cool.
happens, but they say so far no success on a reply. But yeah, just to go real quickly, Halston Destiny got me invested in Halston, and I absolutely love that show. Shame we didn't get a season 3. And of course, there's one episode where if you have a sensitive heart, grab a tissue. You'll know when you see it. But definitely recommend Halston if you see it anywhere. And Cody Snyder asked you a question real quick. Have you seen Chillerama?
Let me see. That might be one that I haven't seen because there was a couple of movies that I hadn't seen before. This is one
While
that I
you're
have not seen, but it is on my watch list.
While you look that up, real quick, I'll go ahead and just say for Maniac the remake, I have not seen it, but I do have interest in it just because of Elijah Wood. But other than that, I haven't seen it, so I don't have much to offer on that one.
I have seen Maniac. I watched it last year. I will never forget it because I had food poisoning.
Oh,
I was sick. Whatever I had just eaten Subway. My stomach was hurting, and I was like,
yeah, it
okay, I'm gonna
was.
go lay
I was about to
down.
say.
And so I lay down, and the worst thing to fucking watch if you're feeling sick is a movie where it feels like you're playing a video game because this is first person point of view, basically the entire movie. Almost the entire movie, you are in his eyes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's moving around as if he is actually moving around. And so, like, I had motion sickness from it, and I was already sick. And then I was so sick. That's probably the most sick I've ever been. And it'll forever be tied into watching Maniac because it's the worst thing to possibly watch when you're already feeling so nauseous. But I made it through the entire movie without throwing up. And
Yes.
then as soon as the movie finished, all hell broke loose and I was not okay. Okay. But I made it. And it was a good movie. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would just because I'd seen so many people say so many great things. And I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. So it's still not bad by any means. But I thought it was gonna be more enjoyable for me, and maybe it's just like also like the state I was in wasn't the best already, and it is nasty. Like there is still like the whole scalping part and you get like really
Mm-hmm.
close to it because you're like right there in it, and it's just so gross, and it feels more realistic compared to the original Maniac because in the original Maniac the blood is like that bright red blood, and it's still nasty, but it's not, you can tell like it's not real. And obviously this isn't real either, but it looks so much more realistic. And Elijah Wood, he's great in it. And it's so weird because you really don't get to see that much of him because again, like we're in his point of view. But
Mm-hmm.
it's still like nasty. It's not as like gritty and gross as like the original because the original is very much like grindhouse, sleazy, just nastiness. Yeah, I would say definitely more of like an art house. And it has like really cool like set pieces because there's like the girl in the movie, she's like an artist and she's like having like an art exhibit and stuff, so there is like a lot of really cool moments in it, and the kills are still really good and nasty and everything like that. But I definitely prefer the original over the remake,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh,
it's still really good.
all right. Definitely. I'm interested in watching the remake, especially now how you explained it, and I will make a note to not eat during during that
don't
movie.
don't eat
Don't.
and try not to get food poisoning.
And I'll do my best on that part. But no, I just remember it's like thank God it ain't Primeval that you watched it while you were freaking sick because
Yeah,
that
well
movie
imagine
was
Primeval
all
but like times like 10.
oh even worse. Oh God,
It's
no
worse because it's constantly moving. Like you're never really sitting
shit.
still because you're constantly moving. And when you like, that's something like I'll get really bad about. I did it when watching Haunting of Hill House because there's that one episode where it's like all like
Mm-hmm.
one shot, And whenever I was like actually focusing on where the camera would be, it started to make me feel sick. And that's what I was doing with this. Is like when you can just picture where the camera is and you're moving along with the camera, it will make me start to feel super nauseous. And that's what Primeval did to me. And this one was so much worse because it's like you're almost never not moving because you are him,
Mhm.
which is
Oh,
a really interesting way to shoot a movie. Like you are the killer because we've gotten POV shots, of course, throughout like horror
like Friday
movies,
the
but
13th and
just being right there and just like as if you are the one that's doing everything, it's so weird, but it's really an interesting way to do a movie, especially like a remake.
Yeah, it's definitely a remake. It's definitely gutsy, I would say, but definitely plan on adding it to my watch list because I'm a big fan of Elijah Wood and he's a fan of the horror genre. So I'm definitely going to give that a watch, hopefully soon. And then the last two movies I have are 2013. Destiny, with this first one, this is the one that I recommend you to watch of all the movies that you have not seen on here, and that is World War Z, that was released on June the 21st of 2013. This movie was all over the place. I remember back then, like it was always on the USA Network. They were promoting this movie like crazy. I have not seen this movie, but so I'm excited to hear Destiny's thoughts about this movie to see if I need to give this a watch myself. And then the other movie, never heard of this movie before, so obviously I haven't seen it. Detention of the Dead had a limited release on June the 28th of 2013 for a rent of $5. And I've never heard this movie, so I possibly wouldn't recommend it. Again, better way to use $5 on something else. So, Destiny, have you seen Detention of the Dead?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it doesn't like the poster doesn't look appetizing. So we'll go ahead and just skip that one. So what are your thoughts about World War Z on your first time watch?
Well, I watched this morning, woke up bright and early to watch it, and I enjoyed it. It's definitely not like my favorite zombie movie or anything. It's one that was on my watch list for so long, and I just kept pushing it off because it's like an action type, which I say that, but then there's like Overlord. I love Overlord. Overlord is so good, even though it's like everything that I don't ever really care for in
Joseph
these type
Quinn.
of movies.
Excuse me.
He's barely in it. Come on, that doesn't count. He was barely fucking in it, which I knew that going in, but still. There's no Joseph Quinn in World War Z, unfortunately, but we get Brad Pitt. But I don't know, he's not my favorite. But it was fun. It has like fast zombies. It's really like action heavy, I would say. It just like I don't know. I feel like with movies like this, you have to have that scene that really pulls at the heart when I'm watching like a zombie movie. Like thinking about this compared to something like Train to Busan,
Hmm.
where like they even though in World War Z he's not with his family the entire time, he is trying to do this and then get back to his family. And I feel like you don't feel like that emotional like how like scary it actually would be to me in the situation compared to like Train to Busan to where yeah, like he's with his daughter basically the whole time, like they're right there, but like you could feel how like scary everything is and how like much more like real it feels compared to World War Z. Like it felt like they
Hmm.
weren't grasping like how serious it was almost. Like it just never felt like lives are at stake. I don't know. So it didn't hit for me like in any way. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Like I think it was fine. It was a good watch. It's definitely not one I'll go back and watch often, but I am glad I finally like marked it off my list. But it's definitely not one I'll go back. And then I'm sitting there watching it. I'm thinking about like getting on a plane, and then there's obviously a fucking plane scene. I was like,
Oh, ouch.
"Are you fucking kidding me?" And I texted Raiden, and I was like, "There's a fucking plane scene." He's like, "Yeah, I knew that was coming." And I was like,
And you didn't
"Sick,
tell me?
sick." But yeah, it was fine.
Well, that's good at least. Like, I'm starting to get up and about of actually suggesting a good movie for you to watch other than Primeval. So I'm doing better on that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Definitely, it's been on. Like, I'm always been curious about it, but I'll just kind of put it in the middle of the road on my watch list. I'll get to it when I can. But I just remember when I was a kid, I saw, or like in 2013, I saw that movie everywhere on commercials and everything. They were really promoting hard for this to be a summer blockbuster movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is all I have from 2013. That was a lot of movies. Did you have any additional movies from 2013?
Nope.
Nice. Good thing I got all the good ones. So I mentioned earlier with Rosemary's Baby, with the main actress getting snubbed out of an Oscar or any kind of big award. This one is definitely one of the most controversial like snubs of all time. Like, this person should have easily won, and this is from 2018 with Toni Collette. That is Hereditary, released on June the 8th of 2018. This movie is on the Max right now. If you're interested in watching this, directed by Ari Aster, and definitely great scores all around. But for me, honestly, I've only seen this once, and I respect this movie, but at the same time, it's like, is this one I would like really revisit? More than likely not. So, Destiny, what are your thoughts about Hereditary 2018? And I will say, be careful just in case of Mia's watching. She really loves this movie.
Well, I also love Hereditary. I
Nice.
think this movie is great. It's spooky. I love all like the symbolism in it and all like the foreshadowing and like all the little parts that are put into it that you really start to notice like upon like rewatches. And I've seen this one I think like 3 times now, and it is one that I go back to. Not like constantly or anything like that. It is still like a heavy movie. And whenever I went into it, I already knew about the scene and stuff like that because I watched it like a couple years afterwards. So like I already knew what was coming, but it doesn't make it any less effective. And the first time I'd watched this, it was like a couple weeks after I thought that I might have COVID, and so like I was like giving myself like panic attacks because I felt like I couldn't breathe, which then I would have a panic attack and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And so I watched this one not that long after that. And as soon as she starts to like not be able to breathe, I was like, oh my God, it like triggered something in my body. And I was like feeling it too. Cause I was like, I already just felt that. So I was like, have to like watch myself breathing during this because it really set something off in me because I was so scared that I couldn't breathe. And so like watching it during that scene, even now it's still hard. Like it still like makes me feel like so uneasy. But
Mm-hmm.
the performances, obviously Toni Collette in the movie is absolutely just wonderful. The scene right after that when she finds out and it's just the camera moving on, she's just like wailing, and the dinner scene is so good. Like she goes through so many emotions, and especially towards the end where she's like crying and then there's like that flip and she just
Mm-hmm.
drops her face, and it's so wonderful. It is so good. And the her banging her head, that is so scary. The fucking piano wire just zip 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 zip, so good. In the very end,
Oh my god! Like,
it's so good. Like I know people say like the movie's like pretentious and like whatever, and like oh it's what do they say? What do they say? Elevated. They say elevated horror. It's pretentious. It's blah blah blah. Like whatever. I don't think it is pretentious. Like I don't think it is trying to be, like there's so many movies that have this similar like premises and everything, and people don't like call that pretentious. Like you could say something like Rosemary's Baby. You
mm-hmm.
could put that on the same level as something like Hereditary, even though like I
Oh,
haven't seen it, but it's
easy.
still the same thing. And I wouldn't say Rosemary's Baby is pretentious or anything like that. So I just think it's like a new like wait. Some of them sure can be a little like okay, you're being a little fancy schmancy. I would say even though I haven't seen Men, I would say maybe Men could probably be like a little like what were you really trying to do here? But with this
Oh
one,
yeah.
I do think it is just such a good, scary movie dealing with trauma and like family trauma and like losing someone and everything like that. Like that part of the movie is so effective. Even with all like the demons and like all the shit that's going on around it, the losing the family part is so good. And the same thing for Midsummer. Like the cool part is scary, but what Danny's experiencing,
It's
that
scarier.
human like emotion part, like that part is so effective. And so like I think Hereditary is great. It is
Mm-hmm.
not one that I go back to constantly, but it is one I at least like to watch once a year. Me and I watched it during October, I think 2 years ago, because it's just a good one to watch like at night during like the dark, all the lights off, everything like that. Maybe like a
Oh,
little candle.
especially that third act. Oh my god, I can't even
It's
imagine.
so good, and plus it's dark as fuck. You have to have all the lights off, or else you're not gonna be able to see everything.
No, no, no.
But I think it's so good. I think it's like well worth the hype that it gets and the praise that it gets, and I think it's worth it. Like I think it does deserve everything because it's just so good, and it just looks so good. Like every frame of this movie looks like it could be like a picture and like just framed. Like it just looks so good, and that clubhouse, so nice. And that their first of all, their house that they live in, beautiful. Every time I see that house, I'm like, I want that house. That is so stunning, and I want that Hereditary book on A24's like website. It's like $60. It's ridiculous for a book, but it's like a hardcover green. It looks like a beautiful book just to have on your coffee table. I want it so bad because it looks so nice, but I love Hereditary.
Yeah, nice. And I'll say this, like I'm not gonna say too much about Hereditary now. Like I respect Hereditary, that's why like I'm not gonna like say anything too bad about it. But it's just the thing, I've only seen it once. Even though how you just describe it, everything just came back to me and like, oh my god, okay, I definitely need to rewatch this. And luckily I get to rewatch it next month because again, part of the tournament. Definitely Hereditary would be a part of it. So definitely looking forward to rewatching it. But after everything you just brought up, just brought back memories of how really good this is. So I'm back on the train. Definitely give it a watch. You definitely need to. But the thing that gets me the most is the school scene.
Is which one?
The school scene with the nose and all that.
Oh my god.
That's what freaking terrified me. And dude, that kid, I can't remember his name right now, but he was an old and
Alex
all
Wolff.
that. Yeah, Alex Wolff, dude. If we keep talking about Tony Collette about how great performance, he gave a great performance in this movie as well, and how he sold that fear in that school scene, absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, he's so good. And again, like talking about like I grew up watching the Naked Brothers band. Like I watched that show as a kid and I was like in love with the Wolf Brothers. Like I thought they were so cute. I was obsessed with their show and I liked their music and I had a poster of them and everything. And so it was so crazy watching both him and his brother act in like horror movies. His brother isn't in that many horror movies per se. He was in My Friend Dahmer. He was in a lot of those like John Green type movies, which I watched some of those as well. But seeing Alex Wolff kind of stay in like the horror genre is so interesting, just from like watching him as a kid be in this band and this silly little TV show on Nickelodeon to like watching what he does in Hereditary. It's such like a crazy
complete
180 thing to see. Yeah, because like when people are like, "Oh, I grew up like watching him. Like I grew up with him. Like I literally grew up with him. I remember being the same age as him in like second grade to like now seeing him fucking bash his head into his desk. It's insane to see that, but it's really cool to see him.
It was just as simple as him looking over and he sees his own reflection.
Yes, and that smile, that weird smile.
And plus, didn't you do a cosplay of that particular scene?
It was it was like after because I had my nose like wrapped and it's when it was wearing that because I had the crown on.
And you had the crown on and
I had the bandage, the jacket. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was when I came up with like last second. I was like, I need something, and I was like,
super quick,
that's so
super
easy.
Good.
And so I did it because it took like nothing, but that was a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome, and again with him, he did a really good job, and so I'm definitely looking forward to rewatching Hereditary here next month, and I've already pretty much got my particular tournament kind of figured out in my own opinion, but you might never know with rewatching Hereditary that can easily change.
Yeah, and I'm excited for him. He's also in A Quiet Place Day One alongside Joseph Quinn, so I'm very excited.
And who's the actress? Yes, I'm telling you, that movie is going to be spectacular next year. I'm so excited.
She is wonderful. She was great. She was also in, I cannot remember what it's called. It has something. It's a zombie movie. She's
Oh,
wearing like this beautiful like yellow dress. It's something I think
I saw that. I
Sunshine.
saw this movie, and I thought of you immediately because I remember you randomly watched it. It's something with the yellow dress. It's a poster. I'm
Yes,
seeing it in my head. I just can't remember what it's called.
it's a zombie movie. It
I
is
think it's
like
on
such a
Hulu.
cute. Yeah, it's on Hulu. It's a zombie movie. She's so good in it. She wears this like bright yellow dress. She's so like sweet in it. She's like a teacher because it has to do with like first graders or something, but she's so good in it. So I'm so excited for A Quiet Place Day One. The cast itself, like when they announced the movie, I was like, I don't know, like, do we really
Mm-hmm.
need this? We already got a day one. But when they announced the cast, of course, as soon as they announced Joseph Quinn, I was like, it's my
And
favorite movie I've never seen. Like, I love this movie already. And as they kept adding cast members, I was like, they really just, wow, they're giving us the best cast. Like, this movie's gonna be fucking great. I know it.
so I guess just the only thing is, I hope no one really dies in it. That's all I gotta
I'm
say.
not expecting him to live. I'm
Oh
really
no.
not.
Oh man. Well, so grab some tissues.
Yeah.
I've been seeing that a lot, but definitely that one. Grab some tissues. So
Yeah.
that is for Hereditary in 2018. Did you have anything else from 2018 before we hit our last year?
I have another one, and again, I have not seen it, but I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and it's called Incidents in a Ghostland or
Okay.
Incident in a Ghostland, or it's also just Ghostland depending on I guess where it's from. But it's just I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and I've seen like it's like a hard watch, and it's on Netflix. It's been on like Netflix, or it says Tubi right here. It was on Netflix for the longest time, but it is on Tubi as well. It's a psychological type movie, and you might recognize the poster. This is the poster,
Okay.
and so like I've seen this everywhere. But yeah, it's one that I want to watch at some point. I just heard like I'll hear like it's really good, and then I'll hear people say it's like bad, and people say it's like a really tough watch, and then people like love the movie. So I hear so many different things. So I'm like, I just need to watch it for myself at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Yeah,
really
that's
curious to
kind of
check it out.
how. That's how like bodies work. Like I told you, like this movie was absolutely awful, and then you watch and you absolutely like really enjoyed it. So I was like, damn, I just like again. That's why it's so important when you hear like different opinions. Your opinion is the one that matters at the end of the day. So you all have to go see it for yourself when you hear like mixed opinions on that. Because again, you never know.
Yep.
So all right, was that it for 2018? Excellent. And so we're going to head to the last year of 2022. These are the movies that were released last year. I'll save the best two for last and go ahead and just get these okay ones out of the way first. So the first one here is Dash Cam that was released, limited release on June the 3rd of 2022 before hitting I forgot what streaming device they went. I just remember renting it where we both watched it, and yeah, I'll give my thoughts to Dash Kane here in a minute. And then the other or another one release, limited release, was Crimes of the Future, released on June the 3rd, 2022. Limited theater release. Me and my buddy Chris went to watch this, and thank God they served alcohol because I'll get to that in a minute. And then lastly, this is the one I've been very curious about with my research. This is on Shudder called Mad God that had a release on June 16th and really strong numbers right here. So I'm very curious, especially about the poster too. So Destiny, what are your thoughts about any of these three movies?
Well, Dash Cam, I did not like. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually like really disappointed in that because Rob Savage did this one, and I really enjoyed Host like so much. I thought Host was great and actually had some really effective moments that genuinely like freaked me out, like made me jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that movie was so well done. So when he was coming out with another movie and it was another found footage movie, I was like, fuck yes, so excited. And then I even saw reviews of people saying like, oh, it's like really good, and I was like, awesome. Then I started hearing like, oh, the main character is very like weird, and I was just like, okay, like whatever. And then watching it, I was like, this is who we're following. This is
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I just when you have a character like, sure, some people might root for her. Sure. Personally, I don't, and I don't care what's happening to her. I don't give a fuck. And so then when you have like a character like that, and that's who you're following the entire time, like I just don't care. I don't feel worried for her because I don't care. I don't care what happens to her because I just do not care. And then finding out how she is in real life isn't so far off from her actual character, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that was even more disappointing because I was like, y'all really gave her this platform? Okay. So, all that aside, I just didn't find the movie, like, put everything with her character aside. I just didn't find the movie to be anything really. And I do enjoy movies like this to where they, like, she's like live streaming basically, not the entire time, but because it's cutting in and out. But like I do like movies like this where it is live streaming. Like you have Spree, which is probably my favorite one with Joe Keery. So,
I still need to
obviously
watch that one. That one's high on my watch list.
it is so good. It's so much fun. But you have and he's a character that you're not necessarily rooting for, but he does it in more of a likable way.
But
Like
you don't
he
want to punch
is
him in the face.
no, like he's so like you could just tell what kind of guy he is, but I don't like actually like hate him. The girl she was so annoying, like I just didn't care. And then it's like I didn't find it to be that effective when it came to like the actual scare scenes. So we got to see a couple of the actresses from Host, Gemma, and then the lady that plays the medium. She's also in it,
Yes.
so it was cool to see them. And I was like, oh, like there they are, like that's awesome. But the scares I didn't find that effective, and I feel like at some points it got a little bit too shaky to the point where I was like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on. It was fun reading all the comments whenever she would go live again and seeing like what people are saying. Like all that part was fun. Just overall, like the movie, I just did not find it. Just did not work for me. And I know a lot of people really did enjoy it. A lot of people didn't. It was very like mixed opinions, but it just didn't work for me. Main
Mm-mm.
character side, any of that, the scares just did. I remember an Ariana Grande tattoo, and I was just like, okay, what the
Like,
fuck?
why?
Literally, I was just like, oh, all right. So yeah, just a lot of it. I was just like, oh, no.
Yeah.
So not my favorite. I don't ever
Mm-mm.
care to really go back and rewatch it.
No, I will never rewatch Dashcam. Again, I don't promote violence, but I never wanted to punch a main character more than I wanted to punch that main character because I absolutely hate her. And you're not supposed to like her, but this is more. This has just evolved more into unliking a character. I hated this character. I wanted to rather know about the side characters more than anybody. But
Like
how
I,
they
sorry, you're like
no
actively like rooting against her,
exactly.
and you don't want that for your. Even if you don't like the character, you don't want to like root like I don't like Trent from Friday 13th remake, but I'm not like man he needs to die. No, because he's at least entertaining to watch, even though he sucks.
Exactly.
He's at least entertaining to watch. With her, it's not even that. It's just like it's like almost like unbearable. It's like, oh my god, get off the
Oh,
screen.
so it made me want to turn it off so bad, but and again I invested $3 rent on this, so
That's
like
the only
I
reason
just
why I finished it too.
yeah, so like it's like yeah, I was like God, I can't waste this money. Which I'll be honest with you, wouldn't even blame you because like this movie was bad. Skip it, just please skip it. And then I had a comment here too for Aaron Click saying BrettMan loves Crimes of the Future. I absolutely hate Crimes of the Future. The only nice thing I will say about Crimes of the Future is it's a beautiful movie to look at from a cinematography point of view, and the actors did do their job, did a good job acting and playing their characters. But honestly, I don't know what was happening the entire time. If you give me a 2 hour movie and I have no idea what the hell is going on, I'm only going to be bored. I'm going to get pissed off because this was one of the ones where I had to go to like travel 30 minutes and pay $15 for this ticket. And I was already pissed off about that. But luckily, Chris bought me my 24-ounce like Truly that they were selling at the bar. Without that Truly, I would have not made it through that movie. I would have walked out. But I hate Crimes of the Future. It is not worth a watch, in my opinion. I know there's Cronenberg fans out there, but I just skip it. In my opinion, just skip it. Did you have any interest in this movie?
No, I really don't because this is like the type of stuff I don't like. Like I don't like
Body horror.
body horror, like body
Yeah.
mutilation, weird. Like I really don't like that. And there's some. Don't get me wrong. There is some that I do enjoy, But this, it just like seems like everything I'm not a fan of, and I just don't know if I can
Hmm.
like subject myself to that type of stuff. And like I really am not familiar with like any Cronenberg films. Well, besides Brandon Cronenberg, I've seen Infinity Pool and I've seen Possessor. But when it
Yes.
comes to David Cronenberg, I'm very much like I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen any of them. But this just
Not
looks
even The
like the
Fly.
no, not even the
Oh,
fly.
we gotta get you on The Fly.
That's the
Like
one
that's
that
the only Cronenberg I love. That's the one Cronenberg movie I love.
I do want to watch The Fly and I do want to watch Videodrome. Those are like the only two I'm like
Hmm.
actively like wanting to watch. The rest of them I'm like, oh, that's just like I just don't like stuff like that. And so this one, I don't know if I'll ever really watch it. Like it's been available to stream for a while, and I just don't see myself unless like I have to or like doing it for the channel or something like that. Like
Hmm.
I'll watch it, but maybe like a drinking watch along, sure.
Yeah,
But
that's the
watching it
only
on my
way you'll
own,
get through that movie. I
yeah,
guarantee it.
I'm not watching it. Just oh, Scanners, Aaron. That's it. Thank you.
Hmm.
Scanners is another one I do want to watch. I do own it on DVD. I've had it for a while. I just haven't watched it. Those are the three that I do want to watch. Like, but when it comes to like a
Same.
lot of that, I'm just like I don't know.
Yeah, like I'll just tell you right now, just skip it. You'll thank me for it. And then Evil Alex was going on, and Sebastian was going on. Just want to get y'all real quickly and quickly because I know we got two more movies left to talk about. Mad God, any interest in it?
Oh yeah, I do want to watch that one. Because it won a lot of awards for the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, and it won some awards, I believe, for the Dead Meat Awards. So, and I always see people talk about it. It is a stop motion movie, and so like it's like something I would never really actively like seek out for myself. But I always hear the praise, and it took so long to make, and it's not like they actively were working on it like however many years. I think it was like 20 or
Oh
18. It
wow!
took like so many years to make it because they were like raise money, make it, raise money, make it. So in like stop motion, obviously it takes a long time because you have to literally capture every single little movement for it to be like cohesive. So it took a long time to make, and I think it's cool that it was finally made and everything. I just haven't watched it yet because like Mud said, he said like he doesn't really know if it's like his cup of tea. I kind of feel the same way. Like it's not anything I would ever be like, oh, which I like Tim Burton movies though, and a lot of those are also like stop motion or whatever. But yeah, apparently it's really good. I hear nothing but great things about it. It
Mhm.
just doesn't necessarily seem like the movie I'd be like, I have got to watch this. But every time it won awards, I'm like, fuck, I really do have to watch this. Like that's
Right,
one of the ones
like it
that
gets your
cannot get
curious up.
yeah. I just want to watch out like knock it off my list because people are like, you haven't seen it. I'm like, no, not yet. I need to. That way I can be like, yes, I have. I have seen it.
Mhm. Yeah, and I haven't seen it either, but again, with those numbers I just showed off, I'm curious about it now. So I'll add it to the watch list, and it's just be one of those. I'll get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
So all right, the two big main event topics here, and for some reason, if I go out, there is a storm coming in my area. So just if I disappear, I'll get back on here as soon as I can. But the two
Mhm.
movies here. The first one is The Black Phone, released on June the 24th of 2022. Scott Derrickson making his return to the directing chair in the horror genre and bringing out a banger performance from Ethan Hawke. That would be the first one. And then the second one, Destiny, I know you're going to be really excited to talk about, so we'll save that movie for last. That is Watcher, was released on June the 3rd of 2022. I got lucky and I got to see a theater release of this movie in May when they were doing an early screening showing for it. And I remember just telling people, "Oh, guys, you all need to watch this, man! Like, you gotta watch this Watcher." So, Desi, we'll go with the Black Phone first, and then Watcher. So, what is your thoughts about the Black Phone?
I enjoyed the Black Phone. I was like a little bit disappointed by it because the hype was like crazy. Like I heard nothing but like great things, and so like my expectations are like pretty high. And I didn't watch it until streaming, so I didn't see it in theater. So it was like a
Hmm.
couple months afterwards, and like I watched it and stuff, and I enjoyed it. I gave it like I think maybe I leaned 4 out of 5, but that was like being generous. Maybe it was a 3.5 because that's probably where I would sit. I just felt like there the moments that were like really good. were like really good, and then the moments that I was just like, what? Like there's the one part, and it was so silly. It's like the ghost was right there, and it kind of like flies away, and I was just like, that was the weirdest thing I've ever fucking seen. Why did they do that? Like I felt like some of the effects were strange, but like the story itself, see, I would kind of agree. Like Ethan Hawke was great, but I feel like he didn't have a lot of moments to shine. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
all those
It's
really
like they
good
didn't know
moments.
what they had with them.
Yeah, like all those good moments that were shown in the trailer were like the best moments I think we got with him sitting in the chair and stuff like that. Like that image, and he's so good in it, but I feel like they didn't utilize it enough. And like the whole twist at the end, I was like, no shit. Like, yeah, that makes so like duh. And I was just like, okay. But like the story itself was like good. I just thought maybe it could have been like a little bit stronger in some aspects. But like the the parts with like the kids and stuff, and he's like getting the phone calls and everything, like I like that a lot. There's like moments at where there's jump scares that actually got me, like one of them where the kid was just like all of a sudden right there like yelling at him,
Yeah,
like
that got me
that got
too.
me. So there were moments that like made me jump, but there were some moments I thought were just kind of like they looked so silly, like it just wasn't. It's kind of just like one of those things how you find a lot with like Stephen King films is like put how do you translate these words on screen. And maybe I haven't read the story, but maybe it's like the same case as like how do you translate these words to actually like making it on screen and like look good and not look
Mm-hmm.
silly. It just felt a little too silly sometimes with the effects of like the ghost, but it was still a good story, and the acting is fantastic. Like the kids in it,
Yeah,
Madeline McGraw,
that yes.
easily one of the best performances of the year. She was so good in it, and like
Hey,
it's so
both of the
upsetting.
sisters are on fire right now, with her other sister being in Megan.
Yeah, they're doing absolutely great. But she was so good in it. She does like her performance like hard to watch and everything, like because she is doing
Oh,
such a great job and
yeah.
it's so effective. But
Too good of
I
a
just
job,
feel
if you
like,
ask me.
yeah, maybe the ending I think could have been a little bit stronger. Like I feel like the ending,
Mm-hmm.
which I did like the way he's like setting everything up and like slowly starting to, and I like that the kids are helping him too. They're kind of like going through their trial and errors and like telling him what to do and like how to correct like what they missed and how they like died and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
it was okay. It was not, I don't think, as great as everyone said. I was definitely a little disappointed, but I still did enjoy it. Like it was still a good movie. I would watch this one again. But yeah, it's not, I don't think it was like the strongest movie of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I kind of like in a way, like when I first got out of the theater, I loved the movie. I thought it was great. I gave it 4.5. Just couldn't stop talking about it. The look at the mask, Tom Savini made the mask. Everything looks great. But as time kind of went along, the movie kind of is starting to go down. Like the hype, kind of like you said, the hype is gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't hear it being talked about as much as it used to be talked about now. So, but again, Ethan Hawke, great performance. Madeline McGraw, great performance. The kid actor, like the guy kid actor, I forgot his name at this time, but he was really good. But other than that, it was just okay. So now, unfortunately, like I'm still going to give it a solid 4 out of 5 now, but the hype is way gone now. So I agree with you there. But with this whole talk about them, oh, we're going to make a Black Phone too. Do we really need it though? Like, I don't think we need it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I agree with that one. But I'll even tell you this: that's pretty much the Black Phone. Unless if you have anything else to say about it, the next movie, The Watcher with Mika Monroe, that one was way better, and that one deserves to be talked about more. And I know you really love this movie, so why do you love this movie?
Yes, this was my fourth favorite movie of last year.
Hmm.
I absolutely love this movie. I had seen it because I was seeing some like mixed things. Some people said it was great. Some people were like, "Oh, it was okay." And then whenever I watched it, I was like, "No, that was like really freaking good. That was so good." It's like I love movies like Disturbia, Rear Window, Summer of '84, where they're like watching other people. Absolutely love that. And with this one's different. It's not like she witnesses something or anything like that. Like she just moved, I think it was like Bulgaria, I want to say, or something like that. So it's in like a foreign
Hmm.
country. She's American, so she's already like on the outside of it. She already feels like an outcast basically. And I like the movie because there's really no subtitles because we're supposed to be in her shoes. Like we don't understand what they're saying either. So we are
Mm-hmm.
also like isolated like her. And it's so good because it is confined. Like it's not like she's just in her apartment the whole time. Like they do explore and they leave, and there's one point where she's following this guy instead of like him following her because she's trying to figure out like what's going on. The neighbor is great. She's so much fun. I absolutely love the neighbor in the movie. Um, and it's just like that ending. The ending is so good. And I remember the first time watching it, I was like, no fucking way, no. And then at the very end, I was like, fuck yeah, because it's just she just looks. That's all.
Amazing.
That's all it needed. Like it ends so just perfectly because like that's all that she needed was just a look. But it's such a good movie. I absolutely love sort of like spying movies on other people and stuff. And there's like one moment that's actually so freaking effective. And it's not exactly the same moment that we would get from Disturbia or Rear Window, but it is like where she puts her hand up to like wave at the guy,
Oh,
and then
it
she
wave
doesn't
back.
see, but you can see up there he also raises his hand and like doesn't like wave, but like raises his hand to show that like I am watching you. And it's a good way to do that classic moment without doing it because you can't see him whatsoever. You just see his shadow. We don't know
Mm-hmm.
who this man is, what he looks like, nothing. But it's such a good movie. It definitely deserves to be talked about more. It is her.
Yeah,
She is
Mika
absolutely
Monroe.
wonderful. She is so great, and she had a couple of movies come out last year that were like horror adjacent, which I love
Mm-hmm.
seeing her in stuff because she's such a great actress. So I'm excited to see her in more stuff. But yes, watch her. It is such a good slow burn. Like the ending is worth it. Like that slow burn does pay off in the end. Um, I showed Maddie this is the like first movie. This was the first movie that I watched to start this year off because Maddie
Mm-hmm.
and I tried watching it on my birthday. We'd fallen asleep because we were both drunk. And so on January 1st, we woke up, we went, got coffee, we came back home, and then the first thing that we watched was Watcher because I was like, you've got to watch this. Like, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And she really enjoyed it. So I will just continue to keep talking about Watcher because it was so freaking, I
So
just loved it so much.
so good. And I'm ready for a rewatch myself too in the comforts of my own home. I was at the theater, so like the theater experience definitely enhances the mood and atmosphere. And the one thing that really got me, and I'm glad Mia brought it up for the Real Horror Awards for like most like scariest scene, was the train scene. Because that, oh my god, that train scene, I was such a nervous wreck for Mika Monroe's character because like I don't know what was going to happen because it was between her and another person, and you just didn't know, and it just kind of got me like, oh my god, okay, what's going to happen? Like, and it's just such a great scene. I didn't want to leave that scene out.
Yeah, you never, it's like, because like you never know like what this person is going to do. And so you're just like frozen with her. Like you feel the tension and you feel like how scared like she must be. And even like the scene at the theater, the scene at
Yes.
the theater is
Oh.
freaking unsettling. She's just sitting there and like you immediately know it's this guy. And like you can tell she does too because she's just sitting there and like she just feels him like right behind her. And it's shot so well. And like every scene, the tension is absolutely just, it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. So, like again, I'm excited for a rewatch. I might actually try to rewatch it soon because I'm about to get my Hulu back for a short period of time to finish off some movies for the tournament. And I'm going to throw in Watcher in with that too. It's just while I have it. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, absolutely. As you cannot already tell, definitely out of all these movies, if you have not seen Watcher, absolutely go watch Watcher.
Yes.
So, did you find anything else from 2022?
I have a couple of them. These are all on Shutter, funny enough. So,
Okay.
there you go. This one I have not seen. It's called Revealer. It's been on my watch list since it was added to Shutter because I like the poster for it. It has like I think it looks like she's like a stripper, and I think that's like what it is. It's like a guy like killing like dancers or something like that. I'm not exactly
Hmm.
sure, but the poster is really cool. It's like pink and purple. Um, and then Who Invited Them? Another one I have not seen, but it's exactly the kind of movie I don't like because it's like the faux pas horror where it's like you don't want to say anything because it's like that awkward situation. So I do want to watch it at some point. I don't see great reviews, but knowing what kind of movie it is, I feel like it'll affect me maybe more than it affects like other people because it's again, it's the stuff I do not like. It's the stuff that actually makes me so like physically uncomfortable. So I do want to watch it though. And then one I have seen, A Wounded Fawn, a very strange, fucking weird movie. Okay, it is similar to Fresh in a way, but nothing to do with the cannibalistic stuff. None of that. It's similar though in the sense of you're meeting this guy, you're going somewhere away with him. He's strange. So it's
Mhm.
very much the same when it comes to that, which I thought was like interesting. Like as I was watching, I was like, oh, this is like Fresh because it's all playing out the same. And there's actually jump scares in the movie that like actually scared me because there's like a lot of stuff with like this woman walking by the windows, and every time I would see her, I would be like, oh fuck. It would get me every single time because she looks scary. So like that was good. And it had a lot to do with Greek mythology, which I'm already not super like well versed in. Like I was never that kid.
Oh
I
man, I
never
love Greek mythology.
yeah.
So
So like I was never that kid. So I was never like I was just like, what the fuck are we doing? And I completely agree with Gavin. Like it is so good. I would say for like the first half, when it flips into that Greek mythology part, it completely lost me because I was just like, what are we doing? Like, and the ending goes on for so long. The ending is just like you're just like watching this guy do this thing over and over again, and you're just like, and then the main girl, the main character, she disappears like halfway through the movie and then shows up at the end, and then she's gone again. It's like they didn't treat her character as if she was like a real character. Like she's there and then she's not there, and then she's there again, and then the movie ends. I was just like, what the fuck? Like halfway through the movie, I was like, where's our main girl at? Like, is she alive or dead? Because I don't freaking know. But it was really good at first, and then when it flips into that the second part of the movie where it switches gears, it really lost me. The first half was so good, so effective, so creepy. Everything else, when he starts like seeing these like mythological creatures, I was like, okay. It got really weird really fast. So everything else though was really good. I just didn't care for the end like at
uh,
all.
once you mentioned Greek mythology, it immediately went on my watch list just because I have my curiosity if they did it right or if they used the Greek mythology part right. Because I'm very stingy about when people don't use Greek mythology the right way.
I don't know. It was just strange. It was just I was like watching, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? But the first half was really good.
And then was that it, or did you add something else?
Nope, that was it.
Alrighty, awesome. So those were the movies from 2022, and that has pretty much been our episode. So let's recap real quick of some of the best things to watch for the month of June for the ones we talked about. Rosemary Baby won the Rotten Tomatoes by the critics. Jurassic Park won by the audience by Rotten Tomatoes. Jurassic Park just let's just say Jurassic Park and Rosemary Baby have dominated these particular categories. The top of the top, and I could not agree more with them. And then, of course, with the best is also the worst. These are the movies you absolutely need to stay away from. Poltergeist 3, I feel bad for those numbers being up there, but you know what? It is what it is. Detention of the Dead, as we said, or skip it. And then The Happening, that movie just happened. So those are the best and the worst of the month of June. So, Desi, I know we've gone over 2 hours, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Anything else you want to say about any of these movies?
No. My favorite
Uh,
was probably Watcher.
yeah, I'm telling
Either
you,
that or Jurassic Park.
Watcher Jurassic Park. Oh,
Or Jaws 2.
and Hereditary.
And
Again,
Hereditary. Okay,
there's
those are my
so
top
many.
four.
There we go. Top four. And those are all amazing movies. So definitely while we have time left, this is the last week of June. Get those freaking movies in. And of course, if you have not seen any of these movies, you know what? Go check them out. You can rewind it and see kind of like where you can stream it and all that. So with that in mind, we will be back for the month of July of 2023. And stay tuned and I'll let you know exactly when that will be. Destiny, thank you so much for hanging out with me in the chat, talking about horror movie anniversaries. So we're going to go ahead and skedaddle on out of here, and we will see you all next month.